Hello viewers, welcome to my channel. In today's lesson, I'll be covering invertebrates. This is in continuation with a playlist of 5 kingdom classification. Under 5 kingdom classification, the most evolutionized and the fifth kingdom was Animalia. This kingdom Animalia can be further categorized under main heads of vertebrates and invertebrates. Of the invertebrates, we have 8 different phyla. Now, our discussion will be into each of this phylum with their main characteristics and representatives. Before we start detailing about them, let us know what were the conditions prevailing on the Earth's surface that led to so much of diversification. Here you can see the image of the Earth during the Cambrian period. The sea was overflooding significantly. Lowlands were getting covered in water to a huge extent. The Panthalassic Ocean and the Lapitous Ocean covered around 80 to 85% of the Earth's surface. The temperature was a little higher than what it is today, around 100 to 110 degree Fahrenheit. The content of oxygen on the surface was also around 10% to 50% of what it is there today. Such conditions allowed an outburst of life forms, and here a large number of metazoans started surfacing. Let's see what are the identifying characteristics of invertebrates. All invertebrates will lack a vertebral column. They will possess a nerve cord which will be ventral and solid. More than this, there are few more characteristics which may not be common to every animal, but it could be specific to quite a number of them. Like if they have a heart, it will be dorsal in position. If there is hemoglobin, it will be dissolved in the blood. If they have limbs, they will have 3 pairs or more pairs of limbs. Let us dive deeper to know about each of this phylum in more details. Coming over to animals under porifera are pore-bearing individuals. They have small pores on their body wall called ostia. Most of these are marine. Few of them have evolved out as freshwater forms as well. Since they are soft-bodied animals, so they have a skeleton which may be made up of either spicules or spongin fibers. The individuals are not identified as male and female separately. Rather, within the same individual, they have the male and the female reproductive organs, thus called hermaphrodites. Most poriferans lack any locomotory organ. They are mostly found attached to the rock surface or the bottom surface of the sea. So, they are also known as sessile organisms. When we look into the anatomy or the internal structure of a porifera or a sponge, we see specialized body structure which is shown on the image. The body is covered by a layer of cells called choanocyte cells. This traps a body cavity which is called the spongocyl. There are few other cells of a little different kind which are called amoebocyte cells embedded along with the choanocytes. On the top there is a large opening called a sculum. The pores which are present throughout the body of a porifera, which is called ostia, they allow the water with the dissolved organic matter to enter into the spongocoel. But when the nutrition and the water has been absorbed by these cells in their body, the extra water and the waste material is thrown out through an opening at the top, that is a sculum, and thus they maintain their osmoregulation. The organisms of porifera only possess a cellular grade of organization. There has not been any tissue grade of organization found in any of them. That's why they are considered to be the simplest among the multicellular invertebrates. Here we move on to the next image where you can see different specimens of porifera. You can see cycon, which is more of a tubular shaped one, a euspongia, which is more of a compressed form, and then a spongilla, which is the rare freshwater form. Towards the left of this screen, you can see a wonderful image of leucoselenia, where the pores are very clear on their body wall. At the bottom, you can see a wide variety of brilliantly colored skeletons with the spongin and spicules on the body wall of the sponges. Let us move next to the slide where we have Coelenterata. Coelenterata is represented by most of the corals. The corals who can exhibit bioluminescence and beautiful array of colors. At the middle of the screen, you can see a Physalia. Towards the top right is a Gorgonia or sea fan. Here towards the left, a wide range of them in the different forms. So here we will come to explain the rest of them when I show you the next slide. Here we enter into the internal anatomy and more details of coelenterates. The name coelenterata has been derived from the presence of a cavity called coelenteron. These are the first of the organisms who exhibit tissue grade of organization, so 1 point higher than the poriferans. Most of them are marine, but Hydra is a freshwater form. They exhibit diploblastic organization. What is this? Two layers of cells. That is, a cellular layer which is towards the outside is called the ectoderm, and the cellular layer which is internal is called the endoderm. And what do they trap inside? They trap a coelenteron, which is their body cavity, and giving them a name Coelenterata. Most of the representatives are sedentary, that they do not have locomotion or locomotory organs, but few of them are free living and swimming forms as well, like Hydra is a common example. By their nutrition, most of them are carnivorous. There is a single opening called hypostome with tentacles all around. These tentacles allow them to capture their food, also paralyze their prey, and help them to anchor to some rock surfaces as well. Here you can see polymorphism in Cnidaria. Now what is this polymorphism? Poly means many. Morphism has come from morphological forms. They may represent a tube-like form called polyp, or they may show a umbrella-like shape called medusa. Here, the polyp is an asexual, tubular, and a non-locomotory form of this organism. The medusoid form is umbrella-shaped, free-swimming, and a sexual stage of these organisms. We also call coelentrates by another name called nidaria, that is due to the presence of nidocytes or nidoblasts, which are the specialized cells present amongst the tentacles for capturing food, defense, or for anchorage. Coming next is phylum Platyhelminths. Platyhelminths are represented by worms, small, cylindrical, soft-bodied worms. Few images are shown on this screen. They are all representatives of platyhelminths. Let's know a little more about organisms under platyhelminths. All these animals are flat-bodied worms. Their body is dorsoventrally flattened without any segmentation. They have a triploblastic organization. What does that mean? They have an outer ectoderm, a middle mesoderm, followed by an inner endoderm. These are three germinal layers. Most of them are parasitic. Few of them are free living. When free living, they are mostly marine or freshwater form. Their body, being soft, may be covered with cilia or it could be lacking. They have an incomplete digestive system with only one opening designated as mouth, but that serves both for intake of food as well as for expulsion of excretory waste. Most organisms are hermaphrodite, that they have both the male and the female reproductive organs within the same individual. For excretion, they have specialized cells called flame cells. This not only helps in excretion but also maintains osmoregulation. For most of the parasitic forms, they possess hooks or suckers in order to stick to the host. Next coming is the phylum Nematoda. This is also a phylum consisting of worms. But what is different about these worms is these are rounded worms. Their body is long, cylindrical, soft and rounded. Here you can see they are also popularly known as roundworms for their body shape. Their body is generally unsegmented. Here there is a fluid that fills the body cavity, and this cavity, since it's not lined by mesoderm, that's why we call it pseudocoelom or false body cavity. Their alimentary canal is a little better developed. It opens at two ends, one mouth, another the anus at the rear end. They have a very well developed muscular pharynx. This is quite unique amongst these lower invertebrates. The sexes are also separate. You can see a male and a female, and here the male is shorter compared to the size of the female. This is also a little special characteristic for this phylum. Most of them are parasitic, but few of them are free living as well, which are usually found on the soil surface like ascaris. Moving next is the phylum Annelida. Annelids are also worms, that is, they are also cylindrical, soft-bodied, elongated worms. But why called Annelida? Because their body is with annulus or ring-like segments which are metamerically segmented. Here you can already see the first point being written as the body is cylindrical and metamerically segmented. What does that mean? Metamerically means this segmentation is repeating in a similar pattern throughout. They have a well-developed digestive system with a mouth as well as an anus. There is a presence of true body cavity called coelom. That means the entire body cavity is lined by mesoderm, and that's why it is the first amongst the invertebrate to possess a true coelom. The excretory organ in earthworm and other annelids is nephridia, which is not only for excretion, but it is also important for osmoregulation, that is the regulation of water content in the body. They do not possess separate sexes like males and females. Most of them are usually hermaphrodite, lodging both male and female reproductive organs within the same individual. They are, now you can see quite a number of good examples shown here down on the image. A leech, which is a parasite, it is sanguinivorous, that is feeds on blood. The next is a nereis, then is an earthworm, and finally again a leech is shown to show its suckers. This is phylum Arthropoda. Arthros means jointed, podus means feet. All the invertebrates under this phylum possess jointed feet. Let's see deeper what other characteristics fall common for these invertebrates. Mostly, their body is covered by a rigid exoskeleton. Exoskeleton is a skeleton that covers on the outside. There is presence of compound eyes as the image seen in the center of this page. These compound eyes allow them to have a mosaic vision, which is like a dot matrix figure. They can see the image in tiny bits and then compile together to form a whole image of the object. Their body is also segmented, mostly divided into head, thorax, and abdomen. They also exhibit a special feature called molting. What is this molting? When this individual show growth from one larval stage to next when they are passing, they shed their outer exoskeleton because the body overgrows the exoskeleton. That is special about the phylum Arthropoda. Next we come over to the different classes under Arthropoda. They are Crustacea, Arachnida, centipedes and millipedes under Myriapoda, and Insecta. Why have I introduced all these classes? Let me tell you, this is the largest phylum under invertebrates. The number of representatives and the diversity of species under this phylum is extremely varied and most numerous in number. Coming next is phylum Mollusca. Mollusca that you see here are soft-bodied invertebrates. They have a skeleton basically covering their soft body. Let's see into the body structure and other features. They have soft, unsegmented body. Mostly there is a hard shell which is made up of calcium carbonate. Presence of a muscular foot for locomotion is a very important feature of this mollusca. You see here a diagram of a pila which is called apple snail. This apple snail has a single coiled shell. There are other molluscans who have a two-part in the cell with two divisions, but they join at one point. But on the left you see an octopus and a sepia. Both of them do not possess an external exoskeleton. Their exoskeleton is embedded inside, but it is not made up of bones. That's why they are still under invertebrates. The octopus is the largest among all invertebrates, and it is a representative of the phylum Mollusca. Here you can see the beautiful shell of the different molluscans. You have the gastropoda with a highly coiled shell, the cephalopoda where you have the head portion being covered by a cell, polyplacofera where you have the shell is into several segment-like parts, and bivalvia where the shell is in two halves while each of them joins at a single point. Next we come to phylum Echinodermata. Here Echinus is shown in the center, a starfish is shown on the top left, then you have the brittle star shown down towards the right, and you have the imprints of a starfish shown on the left. So these are all beautifully looking creatures in the sea. Let's see further about these organisms. All of them have an unsegmented body. What is critical and peculiar about them is head is absent and the body is usually with 5 radial arms called pentamerous You see that in starfish, which is very clearly shown. Presence of sharp spines all over the body is an important feature of this phylum. They show locomotion by tube fit. At the end of this tube fit, they have suckers in order to capture food or to hold on to a prey. Their mouth is on the lower side of the body while the anus is on the upper side. Looks a little different as compared to the usual. They are mostly marine forms and they exhibit radial symmetry. That means if you cut one of these specimens from any angle passing through the center, each of them will fall into a symmetrical half. On the screen are few images of the phylum Echinodermata, starting with starfish, brittle star, sea urchin, sea lily, sea cucumber, and a fossil imprint. We conclude this session here. We will come up next with vertebrates. Thank you for watching. Please like my video, subscribe to my channel, and also share it with your friends who may find it useful. Happy watching!